reckon that climate change is far and away the hardest policy issue that the world has ever had to deal with. It is incredibly complex. It's very uncertain. Nobody really knows what's going on with the climate. So nobody really knows what sort of costs we're talking about. It's transgenerational. Any investment we make now in cutting carbon is going to benefit probably not our children, possibly our grandchildren, but generations and generations and generations to come. And yet, I think rather amazingly, politicians are getting down to dealing with this. Rich countries now all regulate in some way or other to cut carbon, even if it's through fuel and energy efficiency standards, as in this country. Those regulations are being tightened. Europe has 3 sorts of policies to cut carbon. Renewable energy subsidies, we don't need to worry about those for the moment. Standards for products and services, and most crucially, a carbon price. The standards are being used to squeeze different industries, one after the other. Look at the car makers, for instance, because there was a very interesting row about this last year. The European Commission and the auto industry had a nice voluntary agreement on slowly cutting carbon, which the automakers solidly ignored. And so the Commission said, well, you want to ignore the voluntary agreement, you can have some mandatory standards. And it's not just cars, buildings moving in this direction too. In Britain, for instance, we've recently introduced a sales tax exemption for zero carbon buildings. And, sorry, this is residential, by the way. Zero carbon residential buildings, new buildings only, from 2016. So we are getting serious about this. We bought the idea of a market-based system, and America walked out of Kyoto, but we hung on to it. And this is how it works. To emit carbon, you need a permit. The European Commission sets the overall level of permits. And so the price is determined by the level of permits that the European Commission has created and the demand for them. And so out of that, you get the carbon price. So, for instance, its effect in the electricity business. Generating electricity with coal is cheap and dirty. And you've got to get lots of permits for it now. You want to generate electricity with gas? Fewer permits. Gas quite clean. Wind, no permits at all. Lovely. And so overall, the price of electricity is going up in Europe, and a lot of people are squeaking about it. That's the theory of it. Europe actually got it wrong. It gave out permits free to start with because there was so much massively successful lobbying by businesses, while the economists were all saying, no, it won't work if you do that. There's a bill in Congress to introduce a cap and trade system, and McCain, Clinton, Obama are all very interested in this subject. They have all been watching what's happening in Europe. They all favour a system of the sort that we have in Europe, but they have learnt lessons from Europe, so they're not going to give away the permits free. They're going to auction everything from starters. So bang, you will go into it with a serious carbon price in a way that we did.